The year was 2187. For 43 years, humanity had smiled. They had sat across polished tables aboard orbital stations, sipped strange alien beverages, nodded patiently, and signed treaties written in languages that twisted the human tongue. For 43 years, the Vreth Dominion had tested that patience, probing Earth's outer colonies, destroying supply ships, and calling it all navigational accidents. Commander James Harlow of the United Earth Defense Fleet stood at the viewport of UES Resolute, watching the debris field where Colony Station Brennan used to be. 1,400 civilians gone. Another accident. His jaw tightened. Behind him, Admiral Dorothy Wallace entered the bridge, her silver hair pulled sharp, her eyes harder than titanium plating. "They're requesting another diplomatic session," she said flatly. Harlow didn't turn around. "How many is that now?" 17. The silence between them said everything. Geneva Orbital Platform. 3 hours later. The United Earth Council convened in emergency session. Around the circular table sat 12 of humanity's most powerful minds, generals, scientists, diplomats, and engineers. The holographic display at the center showed a star map bleeding red. 14 colonies attacked in 8 months. Shipping lanes severed. Earth's patience, publicly infinite, was privately exhausted. Senator Marcus Reed slammed his hand on the table. "They blew up Brennan Station," he said, voice cracking. 1,400 people. "My nephew was on that station." Ambassador Patricia Cole, Earth's senior diplomatic officer, sat very still. She had spent 20 years negotiating with the Vreth. She knew their psychology, their arrogance, their absolute belief that humanity was a soft, manageable species, too civilized to bite back. They had mistaken restraint for weakness. That was going to be their most catastrophic error. Patricia slowly stood up and looked around the table. "Then we stop pretending," she said quietly. Every head turned. "We send them one message. One. And we make sure every species in this galaxy hears it." The transmission was broadcast on every known interstellar frequency. It was not delivered by a diplomat. It was not softened by political language. It was delivered by Admiral Dorothy Wallace herself, in full military dress, standing on the bridge of UES Resolute, flanked by 12 of Earth's most advanced warships. Her voice was calm. That was the terrifying part. "This is Admiral Dorothy Wallace of the United Earth Defense Fleet. This message is addressed to the Vreth Dominion and witnessed by all sovereign civilizations of this galaxy. For 43 years, humanity has pursued peace with patience, dignity, and extraordinary restraint. We have absorbed your provocations. We have buried our dead quietly. We have smiled across your tables. That ends today. You have 72 hours to withdraw all Vreth military assets from human space, return our seized vessels, and present those responsible for the Brennan Station massacre for trial under Earth jurisdiction. Failure to comply will not result in another diplomatic session. It will result in a demonstration of what human beings are truly capable of, something we have spent 43 years working very hard to avoid showing you. Stop attacking us. Or we stop pretending to be courteous. This is your only warning." The transmission ended. Across the galaxy, alien governments went very, very quiet. The Vreth High Command laughed. They had studied humanity for decades. Soft creatures. Emotional. Divided. Their weapons were adequate, their ships were functional, but their greatest weakness was their conscience. Humans hesitated. Humans mourned. Humans negotiated. What the Vreth didn't know, what no alien civilization had ever been allowed to see, was Project Iron Wall. Deep inside Titan Station, humanity had been quietly, patiently building something for 30 years. Not out of aggression. Out of grim, determined preparation. Because humans were not naive. They had read their own history. They knew exactly what happened to civilizations that couldn't defend themselves. Commander Harlow walked the length of Ironwall's main hangar. Row after row after row of ships that had never been registered in any treaty document. Weapons systems that had never been demonstrated. Technology built by the finest engineering minds Earth had ever produced, all of it locked away, waiting for the day humanity stopped being polite. That day had arrived. The Vreth didn't withdraw. They sent a battle fleet instead, 200 warships crossing into human space with complete confidence. They met Iron Wall. The battle lasted 11 minutes. When it was over, 170 Vreth vessels were disabled or destroyed. The remaining 30 transmitted a full, unconditional surrender before Harlow's fleet had even finished its first combat rotation. Across the galaxy, every civilization that had been watching updated their threat assessments for humanity, immediately, urgently, and with considerable alarm. Patricia Cole received the Vreth Supreme Commander's formal surrender aboard UES Resolute. He was enormous, 3 meters tall, armored in biological plating that had survived 1,000 battles. He had never bowed to any living being in his life. He bowed to Patricia. She accepted it without expression. "You made a mistake," she said simply. "You confused our kindness for our limit. They are not the same thing." The Supreme Commander said nothing. There was nothing to say. Outside the viewport, Earth's fleet hung in perfect formation, patient, powerful, and no longer pretending. Humanity had not wanted this moment. But they had been ready for it for a very long time.